Hello, welcome back. So, last time was before I was sick, and I lost my voice as part of being sick. If you missed the various things I've posted on the community tab to just try to keep people updated, unfortunately, the nature of a visual novel meant this is the series that would inevitably end up getting shafted because, lost my voice and stuff like that. Okay, I'm just messing around. My voice isn't that bad at the moment. It's been a while since I played this, so I'm sort of at the point where I'm playing catch-up. I don't really have time to do the normal schedule until I can actually get my voice in a good enough condition that I'd feel reliable actually using it for the entire episode. It's a lot better than it was when I start recording episodes again, like, a while after. But still, I'm sort of in that mode of catch-up in the first place, so I'm at the point where I think I can do the visual novel stuff, but it might be a little bit of a shorter episode between just, not irritating my throat or whatever there is back there that got so irritated that I lost my voice box, whatever the technical medical name for it all is. I forget. I was looking it up when we were doing it. But basically, I want to start putting out some content for this so it doesn't get completely neglected, but it might be shorter episodes and less frequent episodes until I can get back into the rhythm of doing things normally. So, apologies for everything, but I'm feeling good enough to try this at this point. So, mind you, I'm probably not going to just speak as constantly as I normally would. I might summarize what's being said in stuff like the 10th day. Yeah. So, last time, all hope was disappearing from everything, and we might be screwed. I'm not exactly sure what happened last. It's been a fucking while.
また雨だ。もううんざり。雨が降ると途端に体がだるくなる。テントの中にいても雨はどんどん染み込んでくるし、慢性化した湿気が原因なのか、苔だかカビだかの青臭いような匂いがますます濃くなってくる。ここ数日の雨の様子はほとんど梅雨の様相だ。今度の雨は相当にしつこい。当分やみそうもない。テントを叩く雨粒の音でなんとなくそうわかる。
And the great thing about the rainy season is that it makes actually searching for people from the air a nightmare.
梢の隙間を伝って育った大きな雨粒がテントに当たる音は不規則で、ずっと聞いているとイライラしてくる。満たされない空腹もまたイライラの原因だ。
I could imagine, yeah. That definitely does seem like something that would end up being a significant aspect to that.
もはや口癖のように、ああお腹が空いたと私が口にすれば、最近の和樹は眉を寄せる。そんなこと言われなくても分かっているわと機嫌が悪くなるのだ。
Isn't this normally what she'd write in her journal or diary or whatever? So I don't even have to say it this time. Woo! She's going crazy enough that she's just speaking it out loud now.
それでも私が空腹を訴え続ければ、最後にはうるせえ、寝ちまえとそんなことを言い出す。
ちょっと、私はそんなことを言った覚えはないわよ。
え？
私は動く必要のない時には眠るのも立派な仕事よと言っただけでしょ。
It did seem a little out of character.
やだな、和樹。勝手に私の日記を読まないでよ。
読んでないわよ。あなたが日記を書きながらそれを声に出して勝手に私に聞かせていたんでしょ。
嘘。
Oh, she doesn't even realize it was happening.
自覚なし。重症ね。気をつけなさい、あまね。まるで一人でブツブツと文句を言いながら料理をするとんかつ屋の主人みたいで気持ち悪いわよ。
何それ。よくわかんないけど、人の顔を真剣に見つめてキモいとか言わんといてもらえる？へこむわ。
Well, that creepiness never truly goes away, so yay!
ほら、私が捕まえたカタツムリをあげるから、これでも食べて元気を出しなさい。
もうでんでん虫飽きた。っていうか虫以外のものが食べたいよ。
カタツムリは陸外よ。まあ貝は虫じゃないのかと言われると微妙なのだけれど、それより甘ね。
Kazuki pointed her cheek with one finger, as if to tell me I had a grain of rice stuck to the corner of my mouth. After a brief moment of confusion, I brought my hand up to my face. My fingers quickly found something slimy on my cheek. To say, a leech. Oh, that's not nearly as tasty. Oh, she's becoming desensitized to that. It's on her cheek. That would be, like, comparatively the worst, man. Compared to, like, the other. I suppose it might be a little worse to have it, like, on your, like, your back where you can't even, like, see it or anything like that. It's just a little bit of the unknown aspect to it. That would be scary in its own right. I've grown tough-minded about it. The leech wasn't gonna get scream out of me. Carefully peeling the creature off my cheek, I held it between the fingertips of both hands, dug my nails into its body, and ripped it apart. This is another lovely side effect of the rain. Leeches began to find their way inside our tents. Waking up, peeling bloodsuckers off my body was becoming the first part of my daily routine. That seems like it's problematic to just be sleeping through the night and having leeches all over you. You sort of need that blood and the nutrients, you know, for, you know, stuff. I had to peel them off my eyelids. Oh. Sticking to my neck, wrists, ankles. They have a particular fondness for those points of the body that grow narrow. The skin was thin in the back, knees, elbows, armpits, groin. There's a few that burrowed between my toes after trying to make themselves a cozy little nest. The first few times this happened, we'd shriek hysterically when we woke. After a few days, we lost the will to even moan. Did we jump ahead a few days? I don't remember. No. It wasn't that long ago that she was freaking out in the forest about it. And our bodies had either developed resistance to Hirudin, or we just got used to treating the bites, as the trickle of blood from the wounds would now stop only after an hour or so. Kazuki speculated our growing sodium deficiency might be affecting the salinity of our blood, but there's no way to tell for sure. As the day crept into the evening without a break in the rain, Kazuki and I headed to the large tent in order to visit, the patients. Outside, I started the usual fire, made the thin, watery soup, boiled the usual bucket of hot water. With the gruel in my right hand and the hot water in my left, I made my way to the hospital tent. It was important to remember which was in which hands, since it was no longer obvious which was the water and which was the gruel. Calling it gruel is a bit of a joke by this point. At a glance, it looked more like stone soup. Even so, we were mixing in a bit of rice distributed to Kazuki and me, and the wounded Sakurai and Hiroka were still eating slightly better than the rest of us.
お湯が沸いたよ。
ありがとう、アマネ。そこの手ぬぐいを熱湯で消毒して、広岡さんの体を拭いてあげてくれる？
任せて。
Didn't turn around, entered tents, slowly unwinding yellow stained bandages from Sakurai's stomach, and replacing the bandages. Wash the gauze, boiling water, began to blacken. It made all for the more striking and contrast against the yellow pus that permeated its surface. No matter how many times we carefully disinfected Sakurai's laceration, the separation wasn't showing any signs of stopping. If we weren't in this situation, it surely wouldn't have been difficult to treat, but given our unsanitary conditions and utter lack of medical supplies, we simply could not stop the bacteria from multiplying. Above all else, the patient wasn't getting the nutritional needs that her body needed to fight its way through this. When I reached out for the dirty gauze in order to sterilize it for reuse, I noticed something squirming on its surface. A maggot! Rushing its fat little body mainly within the depths of the pus that had soaked into the gauze, it almost seemed to be consciously trying to crawl back towards Sakurai's stomach. So she has maggots in her wound. Well, I'm happy I have not eaten recently. Like, this episode already. Oh.
こっちはいいから広岡さんを。
Forging the washcloth. A strip of cloth cut from an old t-shirt. In the hot water, I left it to soak and began to unbutton Hiroka-san's uniform. At first, she had been quite embarrassed to be seen naked, but by now, she submitted quietly without even squirming. She might simply have lost the energy necessary to feel shame. Hiroka-san's chest had withered dramatically. Since the first time I'd wiped her clean, her ribs stood out distinctly against the surface of her skin. And that skin mottled here. Was modal. I don't know what modal means. Editing a go. Go. Small white flecks. Small fuzzy little spots that could be dusted off by hand. I thought they were like cotton dust first. When I asked Kazuki, I learned for the first time that mold can grow on a living human body. Mold can grow goddamn anywhere that shit can get nutrients. So, you know, wash yourself properly, guys. Hiroka-san was covered in pale white mildew.
ちょっと待ってね。今熱いタオルで拭いてあげるから。
私もう痛い。
Well, there are letters you can put in there and get a message.
何？なんて？
Dry crap, lips were moving slightly. I lowered my ear to her mouth.
私もう死にたい。
It's definitely a difficult situation. It's hard to completely ignore that desire. I suppose the question ultimately becomes what you consider a mercy here. Whether the mercy is to keep them alive and have a fighting chance for as long as possible, or to end it quicker.
大丈夫だよ。ちょっとカビが生えただけじゃん。
I get the feeling this isn't the first time she said that. Scooping the washcloth out of the hot water with the bare chopsticks, I waited for it to cool below scalding, and then gave it a vigorous squeeze.
体中がかゆいの。気が変になりそう。もう嫌。
我慢して。今きれいにしてあげるから。
I dropped the moderately hot towel against Hiroka, sound spotting me in a wipe. The mold came off cleanly, but underneath there were innumerable angry swollen red welts from where the fingernails had dug into her flesh.
書いちゃダメって言ったのに。
The more she scratched, the more she spread the mold across her body.
ごめんなさい。どうしても我慢できなくて。
Technically, itching just means that your body feels irritated, yeah? I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. You know, mechanical engineering. Not medical in any way or form. But I wonder if, like, it's like, to be that itchy, it just seems weird. Versus, like, pain and such. Maybe it's just a matter of it being much more of a mild irritation in the end. Wide-scaled, unrelenting itchiness is absolute torment. No matter how firmly you're told not to scratch, you'll unconsciously kill out your body while asleep. Her reflexive habit has grown so extreme that we'd actually tried binding her hands to prevent this, so that night she had woken the entire camp screaming. Writhing her body against her restraint, she had gripped her body against the hard ground, crying again and again for help.
ありがとう、スオさん。気持ちいい。
When I wiped her body clean, the itchiness would reduce at once. She described it as almost a blissful sensation. So it's just a matter of having the mold all over her body. Because that's what's causing it. so she spreads it and she makes it worse by scratching. Even so, that comfort would last an hour or two at most. Once wrapped in her sleeping bag, the itchiness would return as her body temperature began to rise. I was now making the time-consuming trip to wipe her clean many times a day.
ごめんね。面倒ばっかりかけて。本当にごめんなさい。私。大丈夫だよ。そんなこと言っちゃダメだよ。体を拭いてあげるぐらい、いつだってしてあげるから、元気出してよ。
If anything, it was bitterly sad to know there was nothing more I could do for her, no matter how hard I tried.
そうさん、私、この恩は必ず返すから。
I wouldn't bet on it, but okay.
そうして、そのためには絶対に生き残らないと。ね。私、死んでも絶対にこの恩を忘れないよ。
As she spoke, tears began to run a little streams down Haruka-san's face.
だからそういうこと言わないの。大丈夫。死なないから。
You know, this has been a real great way to return to the series after my little sickness break. It really puts a little bit of it puts things a little bit in perspective. Not that I really had too much of a complaint about it all. But yeah. You know, the happy return of death and misery. Wiping a tear from Hiroka-san's cheek with the tip of my finger, I reflexively brought it to my mouth. They're still salty. I was envious of that. Are my tears not salty? Oh, Amane's tears. And on to the 11th day. It's still raining, and it had never stopped raining. There's nothing to do but sit around shivering and wait for the weather to clear. Doing nothing all day took a surprisingly heavy toll in its own right. After 10 minutes or so of aimless idleness, you'll be seized by an anxious, impatient need to just do something, anything. But it was impossible to step outside even briefly without being drenched in a downpour. The cold rain would drain your energy with terrifying swiftness, and once you got wet, you stayed that way. We knew it was dangerous to stay in soaked clothes, but we just didn't have the means to get them dry. We could get naked and no, that would probably be worse with all the leeches. The constant seeping rainwater had begun to corrode the thin material that made up the bottom of our tent. Lying down, even with the buffer of the sleeping mat, would leave our whole bodies sopping wet. We had no choice but to sit and wait. In the afternoon, the rain slowed to a heavy drizzle. I had just managed to get a cooking fire going when an eerie sound began to echo across the camp. Someone was singing loudly. It was unmistakably Ibui's voice.
ついに行かれたか?
Quite possibly. A lot of you seem like you're really close to that. Kaneda laughed harshly, an ugly, contorted excuse for a smile on her face.
うるせえぞ! Ibuki!
In an attempt to end the mournful, grimace-inducing dirge, Kaneda jumped by, hurled a rock in Ibuki's direction. The stone fell a few feet short, and Ibuki turned in our direction to examine it. Her face was ghastly white, her skin dull. It looked as though she had aged 20 years in the last few days. Picking up the muddy stone, Ibuki pressed it to her nose and sniffed curiously. Apparently decided it wasn't food, she tossed it casually aside and continued her song. Okay, yeah, I think she's lost it. When the world grows warped around you, those who can't bend simply break. Ibuki, was Ibuki the... Wasn't she the one who, was like carefree, or am I remembering names incorrectly? I'm just I remember what she looks like, but, or that character looks like, but they're not showing it, so. But watching Ibuki caterwauling idly up the rain, cloud-filled skies, as if to summon the sun, I wondered if its arrangement might sometimes be a blessing rather than a curse.
なんなんだろうね、あれ。たまにああやっておかしくなるけど、しばらくすると普通に会話できるし、いつものブッキーに戻ってるんだよね。 需要不足らしいですよ。
いつかは私らもあんな風になるのかね。
金田先輩、ここへ来る前ダイエットとかしてました？
あにゃ？
じゃあ大丈夫じゃないですか？
From what Katsuki had told me, Ibuki had been repeatedly subjecting herself to severe gimmicky diets over the last few months, leaving her with chronic vitamin deficiencies. Since arriving here, that pre-existing condition had apparently worsened the effects of malnutrition on her body, giving rise to impaired brain function.
参っちゃうよね。うちの子守ももうだいぶやばい感じだよ。
Hello, welcome back a little bit. My apparently microphone and or computer decided to do something really weird with the audio. Basically, turning it into staticky, garbly gook. I think I caught it quickly enough that I didn't miss much. It was somewhere in these two where it cut off. So, hi, welcome back. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I basically ended up restarting my computer because I record my commentary on the laptop I used to record PC stuff on, and where I do my etc. Different computer when I actually play the game on, basically. So, yay. Okay, so where were we? Komori's still shut up in her tent, nursing her dog through a high fever. Apparently, she's feeding every scrap of her rations to the animal.
あいつの家和菓子屋じゃん。親は二人とも仕事で忙しくてめったに構ってもらえなかったみたいでさ。兄弟もいないあいつには犬が兄弟なんだよね。まあ、わかるけどさ。
Does she have more than one? Even as Kaneda spoke with those carefully neutral words, her mouth was twisted with undisguised loathing. Her true feelings were written on her face. She had unambiguously hated that fever symbol by a little dog. It was of no use to her, and she wanted to disappear. It was as simple as that.
みんなどんどん弱ってく。このまま私らみんな死ぬんだ。
I think this might have been cut off, but eat the dog. Eat the... I know that's horrible. But it's gonna happen. Just get it over with. Actually, I'm a little scared. Some people really don't like suggesting, like... Some people are more easily defensive of dogs. And I guess cats to some extent. Pets in general, than they are of human beings. I understood from the tone of her voice that this wasn't more of the usual gallows humor. I understood with such a painful clarity that I wish she'd said nothing at all. Glancing up at the sky as the rain began to intensify yet again, I slowly picked myself up off my seat of the called a rock. I can't take this. Couldn't we at least catch a break on this rain? It was adding insult to injury. Knowing full well that it was ridiculous, I did my best whiny preschooler impression, asked Kazuki to make the rain stop.
だから私は神様じゃないのよ。
似たようなもんでしょ。
Everyone called Kazuki a witch, well, except for the ones who called her a monster. In that case, a little rain magic shouldn't be too much to ask for, right? I mean, I knew it was idiotic, but asking is free. In response to my challenge, Kazuki closed both eyes and exhaled heavily through her nose, as if to say, "Oh, very well then," and lifting both arms towards the sky, she spoke to the heavens. To it, "O rain, I command you to be gone on." An exceptionally half-hearted command that dissolved into an heart. I appreciate that she was considerate enough to play along with my nonsense. But if she was going to bother, couldn't she have at least pretended she was taking it seriously? Well, I suppose she might not have any particular reason behind not taking it seriously, but, not taking it too seriously does remove the, too unnecessary of hopes to be laid upon her shoulders. Kazuki ran her neck back, either gazing up at the clouds flowing peacefully by.
何でも試してみるものね。
Oh, the yawn, pray. And spoke characteristically impudent words in her characteristically sleepy voice. Staring at her face from the side, I felt the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. The witch theory was see me. increasingly plausible. Not that on reflection I really care if she was some sort of black magician. It'd be nice to have one on her side right about now. If I ask her to spirit everyone to safety for her next trick, I wonder what'll happen. Asking's free, after all. I looked over at Kazuki, debating whether to throw this new challenge at her, but before I could decide, she stared into my eyes and spoke.
全員は無理。そう言ったはずよ。
だから私が質問する前に答えを先に言うのはマナー違反だよ。
That's not wrong.
あなたは考えていることがすぐに顔に出るから分かりやすいのよね。
It can't be everyone. Her tone of voice was surprisingly breezy, but somehow also exceptionally firm. As if the outcome was set in stone, as if she was merely repeating an established fact. Kazuki's internal calculations must have established something very close to 100% possibility that more of us would die in this place. I repeatedly asked her about the details of her predictions, receiving only variations of the frustrating non-answer. If I told you the future I predicted would change. When I finally told her that changing the future sounded like a pretty good idea to me, she coolly replied, even if it would mean none of us survive at all, and I found myself at an utter loss for words. Well, maybe not utter, but there's still one old reliable one that came to mind. Do we count that as a word?
で
Don't look at me like that. I'm perfectly aware that I'm an idiot. You don't have to rub it in. Even now, Kazuki said the possibility of everyone surviving wasn't quite zero. By believing those words, I could hold on to hope. If I had hope, I could find the strength to go on. Yeah, that's right. I have to be stronger than this. But it was hard. It was very hard. A full 2 days had passed since Mr. Ochi left the camp, and as always, there's no signs of rescuers active nearby. Naturally, our teacher hadn't returned either. With all that rain, I could just imagine how well it went. Is Mr. Ochi lying dead in a ditch somewhere? Maybe he's got into some safe place and just abandoned us here. What do we do if he never comes back? Amid a flurry of aimless speculation, we passed the days waiting for help to arrive. They didn't come today, but they definitely come tomorrow. They didn't come today either, but they'll probably come tomorrow. Mr. Ochi said that he'd get help no matter what when he left here. Not even half the group really believed it. But even so, somewhere deep down, every one of us was clinging onto the glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, he'd save us all. That maybe grew feebler every day, eroded by the cruel reality. Even as we came to understand that waiting would only bring us slow death, we clung to that shred of hope, piling speculation upon speculation. We put excuses out of sand, we convinced ourselves it was too early to decide. We stayed where we were, and we waited for nothing. Trapped in oblivious lethargy, we lived for nothing but to avoid death. When our stomachs growled, we chewed on blades of grass and insects. When our throats were parched, we gulped from the first puddle of dirty water we saw. Naturally, it wasn't long before our stomachs turned violently against us. Somebody said chewing bamboo charcoal might be effective against diarrhea. Within hours, everyone's mouth was stained black. We searched and searched for anything edible. As long as it was organic and digestible, we ate it. Anything and everything the rest of our time spent lying in our sleeping bags, stroking the cramping weak stomachs as we pretended to sleep. So did we take the... It sounds like we're past the point of trying the mushrooms, yeah? If we were lucky enough to fall unconscious, there was a brief respite from the pain. And the 12th day. I was waking up every morning from dreams of food. Walking in the forest, I came across a trailer cart with broken wheels. A trailer cart? When I draw close and look over the edge, there's a huge cardboard box full of canned food just sitting inside. And we don't have a can opener. No! Yes, worth it. Not just full, bursting at the seams. There are dozens of cans in that box. Beef boiled with soy sauce, ginger, mackerel, cooked in miso, even canned peaches and pineapples. Untucking my shirt to make it into make a pouch, I cautiously load it full of cans, making sure to stay alert and keep an eye on my surroundings. If I bring all this back, everyone will be able to eat until our stomachs are bulging. What a fantastic windfall. The look on our faces when I come back. Oh, not to worry, we have a can opener. Oh, we do. But seriously, wait, that can opener might be dangerous. But seriously, there's what was a bike cart doing all the way up in the mountains in the first place? A moment after the doubt flashes through my mind, I probably realize, this is a dream. Anyway, now I'll just take these back to camp now. Let's all gorge ourselves until we can't eat another bite. At least you can just dream of being full. I wonder if you actually experience that respite in the dream, even for a short while. I tried to focus on that thought, but once the first realization hit, I could never manage to fall back into the illusion. Mostly I'd wake up with a start at this point. The instant my eyes opened, my stomach began gurgling violently. The wrenching physical pain of it twisted my face into a miserable grimace. Even if it was a dream, I wish I'd at least taken a bite. When wrapped up in the story at this point, everyone would always laugh, "Oh, you're such an idiot, Amane." I'd hide half the food. I'd give everybody one can, then hide the rest. I'd hide the whole stash and eat in secret. Yeah, everyone's getting really sort of selfish. The majority openly admitted something along these lines, then added with clear amusement that I was probably the only one stupid enough to come skipping right back without a second thought. It is now the 12th day. 12 days we spent living worse than stray dogs. So I still think that Kazuki probably has some stash of food, candies, and whatnot. Have we gone through that? The little candies that Amane's aware of? Probably at this point. Be hard to deny the fact that, well, I suppose she might still be being loyal to the not betraying. I guess we'll see how loyal Amane is to Kazuki. Even among those who've been comparatively healthy, unmistakable symptoms of weakening were beginning to appear. Soft footsteps of death creeping steadily behind us were growing impossible to ignore. Our nerves were rubbed raw from tension, our spirits timid and fearful. The first to be caught by a shadowy pursuer was Komori-san's pet, Akun, the Shinzu Alion, nay, word. It was an endurable breed by nature, and what food we had simply wasn't suitable for a dog with a weak stomach. And so, having fallen into high fever during the days of relentless rain, Alion simply never opened his eyes again. He died quietly early this morning. Like a brother, eh? Kneeling in front of the lifeless body, flat on its side with limbs stiffly extended, Komori-san removed the collar from Alion's neck and wrapped it around her wrist. That dog had been like a brother to Komori, but she didn't break into loud wails over its corpse. Her strangled sobs forced their way out from behind clenched teeth, seeming all the more piteous for it. Nobody could find anything to say to her. After a time, someone mumbled something about at least giving the animal a proper burial. Kazuki immediately raised an objection. We should eat it, yeah? Come on, Kazuki. This needs to happen for us to survive, right? I don't know, maybe I just want to be right about that happening.
あら、食べないの？
So matter-of-factual. We all began vaguely thinking about it, but deeply ingrained social norms had kept us from admitting that even to ourselves, and yet Kazuki had blurted out almost casually.
食べるって犬を？
そう。この子に助けてもらうのよ。
At Kazuki's typically cold words, every one of us sharply drew breath. Eat? Yes, there's nothing in the world we want to do more at this moment. The dog in front of us is nothing but a corpse. Now that it was dead, it was no longer a dog, it was meat. Oh, is Komori gonna object? Would it be okay to eat a dog that died from sickness? What did it die from? How much can we sterilize sickness out of it by cooking it? Do we still have the method to make fire and whatnot? It was Kazuki's suggestion, but presumably it was safe, but... Surely we couldn't start talking about this right in front of the grieving Komori-san, and this whole idea just felt so... wrong. We all hesitated. The silence grew. To be honest, we all wanted to eat it. But something inside us still was offering considerable resistance to the idea. Nobody could make up their own mind. All eyes settled on the last remaining formal authority figure, Captain Sakashita.
そうね。彼女の意見が正しいわ。食べましょう。
It's an obvious decision, but it's one of those things that's just like... I mean, I'd be... Oh, you know what? You know, they said stuff about, when Amani originally brought up the fact that this happened before we started into the flashback, she said that people had suspected that she had done something that no human should do, which implies cannibalism, basically, as being the quote-unquote only one to survive. And I suppose she never said she didn't. Eating a dog is not cannibalism, but you know, it has that sort of untouchable feeling, in the same way another human would be. That you break open that door, the next door along that path to surviving would be... Yeah. Now, the people who are likely to die first, aka the injured, the person with maggots in them, probably don't want to eat them at the very least. But there is a number of... I'm seriously discussing cannibalism here. We'll cross that road if it comes. Never mind. Ignore me. Oh boy. From the expression on the captain's face, those undeniably callous words must have tasted bitter in her mouth. Gamori's son jerked her head up as it stung, then slowly turned from side to side, looking at our faces one by one. Everyone averted their eyes from Gamori's tearful gaze. Everyone except Kazuki, who met it firmly and gave her a small nod. Staring steadily down into those plaintive eyes, Kazuki murmured, "This is Alion's final duty." Gamori-san's face crumpled as she slowly croaked out an answer. Inhuman. The word was written clearly on Gamori-san's face for anyone who cared to look. Even so, most of us let out small, involuntary sighs of relief at her surrender.
だったら虫が湧く前に肉にした方がいいわね。
But that relief was short-lived. Kazuki's words once again left all of us frozen like stones. Right, we're gonna eat that corpse, so we'd have to butcher it first. There's no choice. We had to pluck the hairs from the dog's body and carve it up using a knife. But of course, no one wanted that job. Oh, I wonder who might get that job. The cook? Oh, I wonder. Again, we looked to the captain. Biting her lower lip, the captain looked to turn to Kazuki. And finally, Kazuki closed her right eye and tilted her head lightly to the left.
皆さん、じゃんけんってご存知?
As the results of an impartial game of chance, the duty of processing the corpse fell into Koide-senpai. Ooh. She tried briefly to resist protesting. I've never butchered a dog before, but of course, none of us had made a habit of carving up puppies either. So, the argument didn't really hold together. As the kitchen knife trembled dangerously in Cody's hands, the captain tried offering her some rough encouragement along the lines of, "You're a doctor's daughter, aren't you?" That's not really encouraging, is it? To be honest, though, it was a little hard to grasp what that had to do with anything. Visibly bracing herself, Koide gripped the knife firmly in both hands and took a step forward. But in that moment, her eyes met those of the dead dog below her. She immediately burst into terrified tears. Oh, imagine if we actually do resort to cannibalism. Man. Naturally, again, here Kazuki stepped in to save the day, taking in her good hand the punishment rod she normally used to strike the pan. For a morning wake-up call, she swung it down with all her might to... Yeah. Everyone gasped in shock at the gruesome act, and merely stifled screams. If I started shrieking pointlessly, maybe I'm next. Maybe I'm next? Kazuki just turns to you, eyes just like completely emotionless. A little smile creeps upon her face. You're next. The irrational fear seized us all and silence fell over the valley. I know it's like more of a reaction than it is proper anything else, but yeah.
これでもうどこが目なのかわからないでしょ? 頑張りなさい.
Meeting eyes with the dog is scary, is it? Well, then we'll just crush its eyes beyond recognition. is about as elegant a solution as blowing off your jaw with a shotgun to cure a toothache.
絶対に無理。こんなのひどすぎるよ。私には。
私がやってもいいけど、あなた、私がいなかったらどうするの？もし生き残ったのがあなた一人だったら、誰も助けてはくれないのよ。
As she spoke, Kazaki tossed her wooden sword aside, and then took the kitchen knife from Cody's hands with a disdainful little snort. Everyone's got their hands full with their own problems right now. No one's going to protect you. If you're weak, you're simply going to die first. Kazaki might not have said it point blank, but her meaning was all too clear. We studied the ground at our feet in silence. The strong eat the weak. You wonder, is she legitimately trying to set this up as a let's use cannibalism to get some of us out of here to survive longer? Because the dog's always going to be the first step, yeah? Ooh. Oh. Men and beasts, insects and plants all live and die by that rule. It's not entirely wrong, yes. It's just, the nature of it. Many hissed about Kazuki's cruelty in low words, but her powerful words and unhesitating actions left no room for open objection. Kazuki possessed not only the decisive personality of a leader, but also the ability to inspire fear, characteristic of a ruler. Everyone could only hang their heads and obey.
あなた、ずいぶんと素敵な人ね。
Oh, I don't know.
でしょ？あなたの彼氏にもベッドで同じことを言われたわ。
That's a bit of a weird one to use at this point. You even have a boyfriend?
お肉の用意ができたら真っ先にお声をかけますから、今は引っ込んでいていただけます？
Captain Sakashita turned abruptly on her heel and stalked away without another word.
強引だな。部長泣いてたよ。
あのまま喧嘩になるよりはマシでしょ。うるさい女を黙らせるにはああいうしかなかったのよ。
部長の彼氏って誰なの？
さあ、でも何の反論もしてこないところを見ると
Probably actually has one.
心当たりのある存在がいるのか、もしくは彼氏がいないことをバカにされたと思って二の句を告げなくなったか、そのどちらかね。
Fair enough.
もし部長が切れて飛びかかってきたらどうするつもりだったの？
She has the knife. To be fair, she's literally the one holding the weapon here.
あなたなら平気で犬の頭を潰すような女に襲いかかる？つまりはそういうことよ。
全部計算していたのね。
それは買いかぶりすぎよ。部長に襲いかかられる確率もゼロではなかったわ。まあその時は無様に殴られてみんなの同情を集めようと思っていたけれど。
You wouldn't use the knife in hands? Even out of like instinct?
生き残るために犬の頭を潰す女と個人的な感情を暴走させて怪我人を殴る女。みんなはどっちの味方になるかしら。あなたどう思う？
I don't know. People really do like dogs.
怖い人だね、カズキ。
そうね、自覚はあるわ。私みたいな女は男の子にはモテないでしょうね、絶対。
You'd be surprised what sort of personalities guys can get into. Mind you, yeah, on a mass appeal, probably not. In terms of like actual, romantic relationship, people I like her as a character, but that's entirely different than, wanting to be with someone with that sort of personality. But I could imagine someone getting along with that quite well. I badly want to scream, if you're well aware, how about doing something about it? But I could anticipate her answer, no times delivered in her best nails and chalkboard girly voice. I'm sorry, I just can't, it's too hard for me, or, some such. I felt as though I had maggots crawling down my spine at the mere thought. Did you check? Because there might actually be maggots. In any case, if there's a single man in this world who'd want to go out with this woman, I'd really like to meet him, so I can, get him the help that he needs. Again, you'd be surprised, I think. Though I suppose any relationship, the success of it in that regard, would probably be really dependent on the actual events of the relationship, on whether it succeeds or not, rather than the compatibility. Just because she is definitely very conflict, she seems pretty typical to being very conflict-driven, Kazuki. She does a lot of that, so, probably more conflicts in a relationship, etc., etc. And so, Kazuki cleaned the dog, reducing it to meat. He soaked it in barbecue sauce from the communal stockpile and cooked its little body golden brown. Oh, isn't he pretty? The powerful aroma of grease and spicy sauce wafted through the air. He spawned mouthfuls of warm drool again and again. How big of a dog? How much meat can you actually get out of it? Just a few days ago, that hunk of meat had been an energetic, adorable little dog, frolicking around Komori's feet. There was definitely a widespread feeling of guilt, but the sound of sizzling meat and the smell of dripping grease were irresistibly alluring. Even those who had whispered heatedly about Kazuki's inhuman cruelty couldn't overcome their own stomachs when the meat was finally grilled and ready to be divided. They all swarmed up with plates to their outstretched hands. I was the one who carved the meat for distribution. The rear leg looked to be the choicest and most nourishing part of the body. Lopping off one with a kitchen knife, I placed it on Captain Sakashida's plate. The second went to Kazuki. After that, I divided the meat as evenly as I could between the rest of us. We even had that little squishy sound. We had even carefully washed the internal organs and cooked them as well. After distributing them all, there was nothing left to do but greedily devour my share. You didn't eat the brain, did you? It felt like such a long time since I tasted meat. The first bite was so delicious that I went quite literally dizzy with bliss. Stuff tastes better when you're hungry. I can just imagine how good stuff would taste when you're starving. My protein-starved tongue tingled as the animal fat slowly spread inside my mouth. My stomach squeezed tightly in on itself as though consciously trying to wring every particle of sustenance from the food. It might be a positive that the dog died of sickness over, starving, because it will still have most of its fat still there, yeah? Or a good amount of it. It's probably starving a bit itself, but comparison to just starving to death. It's not like it's just basically bones. Which makes the cannibalism thing a bit less unlikely if we let people die of starvation, or we get to the point of people dying of starvation. Consciously trying to wring every particle of sustenance from the food. Of course, it was ornamental lapdog, a toy breed, when distributed among the entire group, its body provided with a mere mouthful of meat each. Even so, we all wept with joy at the nourishment, and as soon as the meat was gone, everyone began crunching away at the bones. We had assumed Komori would firmly resist the idea of consuming her pet's flesh, but in the end, she bit into her share of meat like all the rest, sniffling miserably the entire time, tears blending with the mucus running from her nose. She ate. I think she understands what it is, but it's hard to resist, not starving. She said she understands, so I think her brain understands while her emotions just can't quite get to the point of completely accepting it, even if she's willing to go along action-wise. That one mouthful of meat kept us alive for today. I don't think we'll ever forget that taste for the rest of our lives, even if we want to. And the 13th day in the valley, it happened far too suddenly. Komori sounded seemed perfectly fine just a moment before it crumpled limply to the ground. For a moment, everyone turned their head at the sound and was simply dumbfounded.
Komori?
Kane-sama called out to her partner, but Komori had no response. Her body had begun to twitch convulsively on the ground. Oh god, did something happen from the meat? Komori hadn't fainted from the lightheadedness or anemia. She was thrashing her body spasmodically. as if she'd been possessed by some malevolent spirit. It was all at once bizarre and terrifying to watch. Kaneda, suspecting an epileptic seizure, forcibly pinned her down her partner's body from above in an attempt to keep her from hurting herself. Kuri-senpai and I jumped to answer Kaneda's call as the others looked in shocked silence. We managed to move Komori to a blanket, but the seizure continued. As Koichi's anxious command, I ran off to find my own partner.
どう？原因は何なの？
Good question. I have absolutely no idea how that works.
倒れた時の様子はどうだったの？
わかんないよ。気がついたら地面に倒れてて、魚みたいにピクンピクンって暴れ出して。転換じゃないの？小学生の頃こんな風に倒れた子見たことあるよ。
転換の発作にしては長すぎるわね。
Komori's breathing was rapid, her teeth chattering, and her mouth and her unfocused eyes swung randomly from left to right. Her eyes and feet trembled strongly in a regular rhythm as if matching the beating of her heart. Oh shit, you don't think eating the dog, you're like...
犬を食べたからトキソプラズマに感染したんじゃ。
I don't know what that is.
トキソプラズマは猫よ。でもありえないわけじゃないわね。
Toxoplasma is a common parasitic protozoan that spreads easily. So if you eat meat that's not properly cooked, there's a risk of infection. Did we not properly cook it? Normally that's hardly cause for concern, but for those with badly weakened immune systems, it can cause serious illness and even death.
まともな免疫抗体があればこうはならないわよ。日和見感染症ね。
どうするの？このまま見ているしかないの？
検査のしようもないし、病名が分かったところで手の打ちようもないわ。せいぜい原因を特定して同じ過ちを犯さないように喚起するぐらいね。
原因は犬じゃないの？
Well, time will tell on that one, won't it?
犬はよく焼いてから食べたでしょ？考えにくいわね。小森さん、何か他に変わったものを食べたりしてなかった？
After a moment of thought, Kane's mouth fell open with a little ah.
そういえば、なんか花の芽を食べてた。
花？何の花？
名前はわからないけど、綺麗なピンク色の初めて見る花だった。これ食べられますかねって言って、その場で何個かつまんで食べてた。
なんだろう。ジギタリス？
日本に生えてるかしら。自生が確認されたのは一度きりでしょ？
Kazaki laid a hand on Komori's trembling forehead.
熱があるわ。体内に侵入した病原菌を熱処理しようとしている証拠ね。水分をたっぷりと取らせて体を温かくしていっぱい汗をかかせるしかないわね。
それで治るの？
Her body's gonna use a lot of energy by using that fever.
悪いけど他には何もできないのよ。何にせよこれに懲りたらよくわからないものをつまみ食いするのはやめなさい。
Under these starvation conditions, it was inevitable that our immune systems would have grown weak. Recently, drinking water raw had become common practice, as no one wanted to waste time boiling it when they could be searching for food, and when foraging in the forest, many would pop even totally unfamiliar plants into their mouth if they looked vaguely edible. By now, diseases so mild that normal people probably wouldn't even notice them were potentially life-threatening to us. That was how weak we'd grown. As we slowly carried Komori's quivering body to her tent, we could only grind our teeth at our powerlessness.
風見、ちょっといいかな。
We just left Komori rest when Sakuma-senpai called out to us.
なんか、伊吹の様子がおかしいんだよ。
Okay, so she's Sakuma. That was the one I was thinking of. Ibuki's the, she must be the like, really edgy one, sort of? Probably. I had a very bad feeling about this. The moment we followed Sakuma to her tent, that presentiment was realized. Yeah, the edgy one was the one that we were talking about before about having a lot of diets.
ねえ、今日は何日？私たちがここに来てから
何日経ったのかな。
Wrapped up in her sleeping bag, Ibuki stared intently at a point in the tent's canopy, smiling slackly at nothing in particular as she spoke.
今日は何日？
今日は26日。ここに来て13日目よ。
そう。早く帰りたいな。
Even as she answered, Ibuki's eyes never turned towards us. The tone of her voice was vague, unfocused, and almost like a sleepwalker conversing with her dream.
ちょっと出ようか。
As directed, we moved to leave the tent, but Ibuki immediately piped up.
ねえ、どこ行くの？私も行く。すぐ戻ってくるよ。おとなしく寝てな。今日は何日？26日だよ。そう。早く帰りたいな。
Wow. Wow.
参ったよ。今朝からずっとあの調子なんだ。いつもならすぐに元に戻るのに、今日はもうずっとあんな感じだ。このまま元に戻らなかったら、私どうすればいい？
You know, if anyone who has either researched this or is well versed in the topics, I am curious about how well researched this is. Because it definitely doesn't seem like it's delving into tropes, so it gives the impression like it knows what it's talking about and how things would really sort of go down. So, I'm curious how accurate it is, though, and how these symptoms might manifest. If anyone knows, I'm probably not gonna delve into it too much myself. Might search it quickly, but if anyone does know, that would be interesting for myself, and I presume anyone else watching. That might leave go to the comments and look, etc., etc.
どうすることもできません。ここには薬もなければ自己回復力を上げるだけの需要もないんです。
このまま腐るに任せるしかないのか。
申し訳ありません。
君が悪いんじゃないさ。無理を言っているのは私だ。すまなかったね。
Well, the only hope is getting saved soon, so that they can help her. I wonder if Sakuma would actually resort to that, going and trying to find help herself.
いえ。
Sakuma-senpai's powerless and tempted smile conveyed only resignation and defeat, made all the more pitiful by her swollen face. It wasn't the flushed swelling of a fever. Her face had drained all of her color, her ghastly pale cheeks visibly rough and dry. She was blinking constantly throughout our conversation. It may have been difficult merely to keep her eyes open behind those bloated cheeks.
佐久間さんも栄養失調が顔に出ています。
そうだね。気をつけるよ。
Exactly how she's supposed to be careful about starving when there's no damn food. Sakuma seemed mature and refraining from yelling the obvious retort in Kazuki's face, but quite possibly, she simply no longer had the energy. Just how long would this situation last? Mentally, physically, in every possible way, we were being taxed beyond our capability to endure. How long could we possibly hold it together under such circumstances? Even Kazuki, our acknowledged authority on mental toughness, could no longer fully hide her fatigue. Her youthfully framed face, burdened with that accumulated exhaustion, seems to have aged somehow. Gently closing her eyes, Kazuki breathed a brief sigh, and then proceeded to depress me still further.
実はここだけの話、桜井先輩と広岡さんも相当にまずいのよね。
Sakurai had initially been recovering fairly well, but our unsanitary environment and inability to adequately disinfect her wound proved catastrophic. She was beginning to exhibit symptoms of sepsis, almost certainly caused by bacteria invading through her wound. She was now running high fever with consistently elevated heartbeat. She tripped over her tongue when she tried to speak, and her limbs were routinely whacked by brief painful muscle spasms, as if her body was trying to contract. She needed antibiotics, and soon. Hiroko-san was no better. In fact, she was worse. Her debilitation had progressed to the point where she no longer showed any response to our voices. Just basically just outright unconscious. All came down to inadequate treatment compounded by worsening malnutrition. The dog had been our only halfway decent meal in days. Otherwise, we were getting on by cooked snails, wild grasses, and our gruel. Really nothing more than faintly colored water with a few grains of boiled rice floating at the bottom. Even minor injuries couldn't heal on such a diet. On our first day stranded in this ravine, we ate fluffy white rice steaming from a cooker. I couldn't get that memory out of my mind. Back then, we gobbled the rice down without a second thought. Even had the nerve to complain about our coarse side dishes. Just remembering it made me want to scream at the pampered luxury of it all. We were so starved for sugar that the tea made from the skins of onions almost tasted sweet to our tongues. Then again, our initial yearning for sweets only lasted for the first carefree week or so. At some point, we began to crave salt far more than sugar. By now, we'd been reduced to licking the rust that formed the wreck frame of our bus after days of rain. Oh, that's gonna go well. Now I'd reached my absolute limit. When I crawled into bed that night, I hesitated to close my eyes, afraid I never opened them again. But then again, maybe it would be better that way. If I let my eyelids fall shut, I would sink deeply into blissful oblivion. If my heart would then quietly stop beating, wouldn't it be a blessing? I couldn't help but feel that death without suffering would be a happier fate than to struggle on like this. But whenever I expressed those weak thoughts out loud, Kazaki would scold me.
まだ諦めるのは早いわ。
Kazaki whispered those words forcefully, as if trying to convince herself they were true. It seemed too cruel to fire back then. How long do we have to endure? How long before we can finally give up? I could find no further words, and silence settled in the tent. And yep, that's where I'm going to end it. As we begin the 14th day. That was probably longer than I was planning to go, but I was more looking for a decent ending point. Basically, between the time editing, extra time, and basically, I'm trying to. I don't really have. Because I can't record in one day, multiple episodes in one day until. I might try it again this upcoming weekend. I might be able to get a bit more on track. Yeah, it's basically. I don't have time in a single day to both record and edit an episode, considering I work a full-time job. Even trying to catch up, and then there's the fact that I have more in a life than just this, so... Okay. I will see you all next time. Drive safely, everyone.